If you're a composer and you're struggling to get your music discovered online, to get performances and wider reputation for your name and your brand, then one of the best ways to do this is creating a YouTube score video of your music. You'd be surprised how many professional opportunities can come from having this greater discoverability of your music. For me personally, I secured a deal with one of the world's best educational music publishers in the world by having my score videos online and having the editor find it on YouTube. So I'm going to be showing you my updated tutorial on how I create these score videos, from exporting them in the music notation software to uploading them online, and give you all sorts of tips and tricks along the way. And the action step after this video is to go ahead and create your own if you haven't already. Without any further ado, here is that tutorial. So welcome to my music notation software of choice. This is, of course, Dorico Pro, and I'm going to be showing you my whole project here. This is the score that I'm going to choose for this demonstration. I actually have a score video of this on YouTube, but I'll show you the steps that I took to create it. So first off, we need to export this score as a PDF file. So I'm just going to go to print here, and we're going to go and make sure it's on PDF here in graphics. And then I made a demo folder for this specific project, so save it to a specific folder, have an organized system of all your pieces in your file manager, and make sure everything's all sorted and organized there. But besides that, let's go hit export. Perfect. And I'm just doing the full score. And a second step, if you don't have a recording of your piece performed, it's totally acceptable to use MIDI audio. So to do that in Dorico, I'm going to go to File, and then I'm going to go to Export Audio. And same process here, I'm just going to go find that folder, and it's in here, Demo Score. Perfect. Choose the same folder. And it's best to choose the highest quality audio possible. So that'd be WAV format, of course. And you're gonna go hit OK, and that's going to export the audio. And I have a recording, a live recording of this piece performed, so I'm gonna opt to choose for the live recording instead of the MIDI. And that is a pro tip: if you have a recording, always choose a real performance of the work, even if it's not perfect. It makes a big difference. Unless it's awful, then that's a different story. But let's go ahead and find that folder. Here we go. And here is the audio. I don't know why it makes a subfolder. This is the MIDI file, so I'm gonna make sure that those are all together. Great, so we have the full score here. If I just preview that, that's great. And we have our recording. This is our recording. I'm going to delete the MIDI one because I already have this. And great. So the next step is to create individual screenshots of each page. And that's how we're going to place them on our video editing timeline. So to do that, there's different ways you can do it. The easiest way would to be using your operating system's default screenshot tool. So on Mac, you can do Command-Shift-3, and that would take a screenshot. There's different tools you can use. Windows has a snipping tool, I believe. But the way I prefer is using an external PDF editor app, and that allows me to easily export high-resolution images in batch. So I'm going to open up with PDF Expert, which is what I choose. An alternative would be the Adobe Acrobat app, but I am anti-Adobe. Let's go ahead and export. And we're going to go to image. And this makes it really, really easy for me to export the entire score in one go. So here's the demo file. And I'm going to create another folder called score pictures, because there's going to be a lot of them. And we can save it as PNG or JPEG, doesn't matter. And that's going to do it all for me. And look at that. Now each individual page is a picture. It's a PNG file. And that's what we're going to be using to sync along with the audio in our editing software. So once we have our score photos and our audio recording, we're ready to move on to the video editing portion of it. So let's go ahead and open that up. So we are in Final Cut Pro. This is my video editing app of choice. I would always opt for choosing free ones. This one, of course, is a paid app because I make YouTube videos, so of course I would use this. But the free version of this would be iMovie. DaVinci Resolve is free, I believe, along with even CapCut, which is a popular editor on mobile and on desktop. So always choose the free options. We're doing very, very simple video editing, and it doesn't require any powerful tools. All you need is a timeline and a way to sync up the score pictures along with the audio. So any basic editing software will do. So let's go ahead. We're going to go and import our recording to the timeline. Let's give that a listen. Amazing. So here's our entire score, our entire timeline of our video, and we're going to go ahead and start inputting the score pictures. So we can just drag page 1 in. So what I do is I just hit play, and I'm going to extend this page 1, and I'm going to listen to the recording, and by the time that the recording is playing to the end of this page, I'm going to cut it and add the next page in. So let's find where that is. Let's see. Here we go. Now to my measure. Great. And it's about to hit the downbeat. About on like the last big beat of that measure, I'm gonna cut to the next page. So let's go ahead to our Finder, and then we're gonna add page 2. Boom. You see how smooth the transition is? You want to make sure that if you're actually a conductor and you're turning the page along with the recording, as if you were performing it, it turns at the rate that you would normally turn a page. So it takes some time to get the timing right, but this seems natural to me. So we're going to continue and just kind of scrub ahead into the end of this page. Awesome. And of course, I know this piece because I wrote it, so I know exactly where those page turns are in the recording. And of course, the bigger score you have, if this was like a full orchestra piece, this would be a much lengthier process. But luckily, this piece is only about 3.5 minutes, so it won't take very long, and there's not many pages. So depending on what project you have, it can be a very tedious process, but I like to think it's a fun thing to do. So let's keep on going. And last page. And we just kind of drag this to the end of the waveform there. And there we go. About when the silence starts to taper, that's where I kind of cut everything off. So that's the basic process of cutting everything in. This is like the bare bones method of what your score video can be. So some additional things we can do to spruce it up a little bit is to add page transitions between all these cuts. And one of my favorite effects in Final Cut Pro for these transitions is the page curl animation. So if we search that up, here, page curl, we just drag it right in between the seams there, and this is kind of what it looks like. I really like that effect of the page physically turning, but it's kind of going the wrong way. Normally we would turn from the top right of the page, so I'm gonna go change that in the effects. So I'm just gonna click on it and then preset left. We'll do the opposite direction. And with this arrow right here, we can actually change the angle at which the page is turning. So you can see I'm just gonna do that. It's very fluid. There are other effects in like Premiere Pro that do the same thing. I think that's just neat. And you can actually time it so it's a quicker page turn so you don't miss any notes. So I'm just dragging it in, and that one's like an instant page turn. I never thought about doing this, but you can add like a page turning sound effect in there. I think that'd be neat. There's different ways you can do it. Another option for doing an animation other than the page curl is just a simple crossfade. So if we can just search for cross dissolve, this just makes it a seamless transition to the next page. Here's that. That's a simple one, classic, but I've always opted for the page curl because it's like I want to simulate the effect of actually reading the score in live performance. So I'm just going to paste that transition in each of these little gaps,
copy and paste. And now, every single page turn now has an animation. And at the ends and the beginnings of the clip, sometimes I add a crossfade to make it a nice little fade to black. So here's that. There's that. In addition, I could do that with the audio as well. So the audio tapers with another fade there. And Final Cut, I'm using Command T to do this very quickly. Here's that fade from black there. I might not do that with the audio. There we go. That's pretty much my entire process. Sometimes if I have front matter, like program notes or a title page, I'll like quickly sequence that in the beginning and just have it cut just a few seconds before the recording starts, in case someone wants to pause and read the program notes. But as you'll soon see, I usually link that in the YouTube description with the program notes. Great, so now that we have our score video in the software, we have to export it to our folder structure and prepare to upload it. So here I'm going to go to the top and I'm just going to choose social platforms, and then here's our video project. I chose just standard 1080p resolution HD, 60 FPS for those smooth page curls, but really those are just small details that you don't really need to worry about. Let's add this to our folder and just go ahead and export it. So Final Cut's going to be doing that export shortly, and then we'll meet you in the YouTube Studio uploader to prepare to upload this. So one quick optional tip that you can do is actually create a thumbnail for your score video. This is completely optional, but it just makes it a little bit nicer than having a still image with all the black bars on the side. I think that kind of looks ugly, so I'm going to choose 1280 by 720 in Pixelmator, which is like a Photoshop kind of app. I'm just going to quickly create a thumbnail to make it a little bit more full screen and have the title page of the music present to make it a little bit more appealing and make it look nice. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab the first page of our score. This is just a really simple way of doing it. I'm not saying it's the prettiest, but it just gives it a little bit more pizzazz, So now it's just like front and center. This is a cool tip that I do. I add like a cardstock paper effect over it, so I know on my computer somewhere I have cardstock paper texture. Great. I'm just gonna throw that on and size it up. And what I'm gonna use is like a screen mask over it to make it blend into the, I don't know what happened there. Let's do that. Okay. And I can go ahead and go to screen. Oh, that's not right. Let's do, this might be a little egregious. Darker color. Something like that. And now it kind of looks like a paper towel, but if you get the right texture, it can look really nice. This texture is a little bit too hard for me, but yeah, just adding like a realistic paper texture to it might make it stand out a little bit. So this is what you would see as like the YouTube thumbnail preview. I think it just makes it a little bit more pleasing to the eye. So let's go ahead and add that, and I'll call it thumbnail. Great. Okay, so now we have the exported score video right here. So I'll show you what that looks like. Awesome, so that's ready to go. And all we have to do is go into YouTube Studio, so just your standard upload screen for your channel, and you're going to go ahead and just drag and drop that into there, and that's going to start uploading. And let's name it something nice. We'll call it Inferno Score Video. Sometimes I put my last name in there to make it fancy, but you can also put the instrumentation in there. Inferno for cello, piano, and percussion. There's different ways you can title it, just whatever's up to your preference and aesthetic style. Let's paste in our program notes there, and I always want to make a way for people to purchase it or to find more information about it. So I'll say to view or purchase. I'll just do that, and I'll say send a link straight to the JW Pepper page there. Amazing, and this is as simple as you need to get. You might want to, for metadata, you might want to put the instrumentation under it. this is perfectly fine. And remember that thumbnail we just made? Let's go ahead and just drag and drop that into there. For this one, it kind of looks like a paper towel. Let's just drag it into there. And that's kind of what it would look like. And this is as simple as you need to get it. And rinse and repeat for all of your other pieces. And you'd be surprised how useful this can be for your online presence. So I hope that's simple enough. You don't have to spend a lot of money on editing software. You don't need that much skill to do it. As you can see, you just need free software with a timeline, and you're putting images of your score along with the MIDI or audio recording of your piece. It's that easy, and just include relevant information in the description and the title, and you're good to go.
So I hope this has been a helpful tutorial on how to create your own score videos. Again, just use free software. It doesn't take a genius to create these things. If you want to know how to self-publish your music, which works in tandem with this whole discoverability thing and building an online reputation, go ahead and check out this video where I talk all about that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and keep writing.